Hello guys, welcome to my channel again. Today I have an amazing video for you guys, and it's a little bit different topic. It's about some robotics and some drone things, and I made it presentation for you guys so that you can understand its features, its components, and how it works. So let's do it. Let's start our presentation and see what are the information I should give you in this video. So as you can see, you are watching this video on Greater the YouTube channel, and if you like this video, obviously subscribe to my channel, and if you like any of my content, please like to do comment and like, and so that I can improve myself more, and by your comment I get more motivated, so it is really important for me. So let's get started our topic. What is actually the Hexa-Copter? Hexa-Copter is a type of multi-copter with 6 motors and 6 propellers. As you can see, there are 6 motors and it is rotating by a propeller. So propeller helps to fly it around to the top or any places. So so the propellers are the really important part for this Hexa-Copter, or you can say it is also a drone or a flying robot. Those are commonly found in automated robots and drone. As you can see, I already told you it is a robot and it is type of drone. The 6 motor and propellers have increased the capability and safety to the robot. So the advantage of it is 6 motors and it has 6 propellers. So it has a lot of stability and capability compared to the 4 multicopters. There are various versions: 3 multicopter, 4-way copters, and 6-way copters. So in this video we're gonna talk about only the 6-way multicopter. So let's understand some of the component, because without the knowing of any component, you cannot just think about it or structure it of your own. You have to know about the component of it. So the component there are standard propellers. That is the main part of it that makes it fly, and it is a very cheap things you can buy in stores easily, and it is not that expensive thing. Brushless motor is a little bit expensive compared to the propellers, because brushless motors are really helpful when you are talking about something that can fly, and it need very high powerful speed of motors so that it can fly properly. If you use brushless motors, it has a increasing amount of capacity, it can rotate really fast and it is really efficient. So brushless motors are really good for any helicopter or drones to fly. It's really important, and it has a landing gear to land it properly. And ESC is the electronic speed controller. As you can see in the yellow color thing, the ESC, this is really helpful when you want to make any electronics things that can control its speed and its motor speed, so that you can control it properly. You can move forward, you can go backward. Sometimes you need to increase the velocity of your motor, sometimes you need to decrease the velocity of it. So you need to have a good controller, which is the ESC controller here. We have flight controllers, but you are gonna control it through a remote control. Main devices: the Hexa-Copter has a receiver that can receive some information, some signal, and transmitter can transmit some information from your keypad or from where you can control. You can also say it as a joystick, and the receiver, which is stand on your Hexa-Copter. GPS module is a very important thing. Global positioning system, as you can know, this is a very popular module and it is used in many cases and many electronic projects. So you have to know the position of your drone when you are controlling it, otherwise it will be a mess. You don't know where to fly and where to go and where you can return from it. So GPS module is also important. Then we have a battery, and the battery is simple as it is. You have a battery that can power off all of your component, like the brushless motors, the GPS modules, and all other things. You can also add external camera to this if you want. So the features of the Hexa-Copter are, as you have understand, that there is 6 propellers and 6 motors, so it has a lot of stability. It can stay in the air for a longer period of time with a stable frequency, and it can take payloads, like as you can see in the digital camera, it can take a heavy camera with it because it is more stable compared to the 4-way propellers. And it has a wireless connectivity. Obviously it would be wireless because it is a remote controlled device, so you will control it using the remote control, which is acting as a transmitter, and it will send signal to your Hexa-Copter, which is actually the receiver here. It has a greater power, but also it is very expensive. It is, or you can also say that, because it has 6 motors and it has a lot of stability, so you have to give more money to it, so it is expensive. And it has a real-time feedback, and advanced photography, as we are already told about the advanced photography of it. And videographers really like those kind of drone and the image captured and the video captured by it. And upgraded remote control, it has a really good remote control that can control it in rotating, in going up or down, or if you want to fly very quickly or slowly, you can control the your motor perfectly. So these are the things that are the features that are really important: stability, wireless connectivity, real-time feedback, advanced photography, and much better upgraded remote control. The applications are many, and the application that I'm going to talk about is the agriculture, because agriculture fields are very large, and if farmers find it really hard to control and monitor what is going on around to the field and all of those things, so they can monitor it and see what is happening in the field very quickly within a very short time using the 6-way Hexa-Copter. As you know, it is a very useful for photography and film production, those kind of stuffs. And it is also used for different kind of manufacture industry, construction, and border patrols to see what is going around. So it is a really good things to monitor and control of your things that you need a lot of effort when you're doing it by human. Aerial thermography. So you have to know what is going on in the aerial thermography, because it is one of the basic applications of this 6-way Hexa-Copter. So thermal cameras detect radiation on the range of electromagnetic spectrum. So there is a camera in that, which is thermal camera, that can detect your radiation. Radiation is how much temperature or how much warm a particular place is. It can detect that. And it can produce images of that radiation, which is also called the thermograph. The amount of radiation, as you can see, is proportional to its temperature. The more temperature, the more radiation will come to it. It allows us to see variations in temperature in the scene using the temperature and thermal camera, using the electromagnetic spectrum of this thermograph. So if there are any hot places, there will be a red sign, as you can see in the right pictures, and where there is a very hot place, there would be a red tint, and where there is a medium amount of temperature, there would be a yellow tint. So by using this tint and analyzing all those pictures, you can understand what the radiation is and the temperature is of any places. The use case of this: healthcare, agriculture, and protecting your species, all of those things. Precision agriculture. I already talked about the precision agriculture, so it is considered to one of the fields where Hexa-Copter is a very good thing, is a very key factor, and that defines the future farmer into successful and failures, because he can control anything. He can monitor it, he can plan it according to the weather, he can control it, and he can see everything what going on the field. Monitor industry. This particular area uses the various inspection and checking, like inspection of bridges, high voltage power line, where if people cannot go easily, they can see that, and the inspection of bridges, if what the construction is going on around the bridges, because they are very risky area. And you can also take it to the high voltage power lines and high structures buildings where people don't go very easily. So it is really handy in those kind of situation, those critical situation. You need to use that kind of things. Now let's talk about how it's work and the total mechanism of it. The two things are really important here: the resultant force and the resultant momentum. So let's talk about the Fi and Mi. Fi is the force of individual motors or the propellers. So there are 6 of them. So Fi means there is one piece of force. Okay, so Fi is equals to K, which is the constant, and F is the force of each propeller. As you can see, F1, F2, F3, these are the force of each force, times omega I. As you know, this is the angular velocity. When something rotates, there is an angular velocity. Okay, so you need to multiply the force in each propellers and the angular velocity times 2. Resultant force is the capital F is equals to F1 to F6, because it is a 6 propeller thing. So it will add up to 6 force minus the mg, which is a gravitational force which is acting on the opposite side of the force, because this the force from this motors, from this propeller will go to the upwards and it will make it fly, and you have to reduce the mg, which is the gravitational force which is taking it to the downside. So this resultant force is really important in understanding the mechanism. So next we understand the resultant momentum. So first we see the formula is Mi is equals to K, which is again the constant. M is the momentum of each force and each propeller times omega I square, and the angular velocity squared. So this is the two formula. This is really important. And when you see the resultant momentum, which is M is equals to R1 times F1. R1 is the radius from the center to the force, the radius times the force of each propeller. So there would be R1 times F1 plus R2 times F2 goes on. For 6 propeller, there is 6 radius and 6 force. You need to sum them all, and in between them you need to multiply them. So when you find the resultant momentum, you will see that there are total 6 radius from the center position, and you need to multiply each propeller and each radius with their force, and you need to add all of those finally. So in this case you will find the resultant momentum. The mechanism also goes on that when F and M, force and momentum, is equals to 0, it means that it won't do anything. It will stay whatever it is. It is in equilibrium positions. Okay. There is also a situation where it will hover. Hover means it will fly a little bit, but it won't go to the ground or it won't fly up. So this is actually the hovering. This means the mg, the gravitational force opposite direction, is equals to the sum of total force F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F6. So all of those will move it up to the upwards, and mg will make it go to the opposite direction in the ground direction. So if it is same, both those force is equals to same, then it will hover. It will not go up, it will not go down. It will stay in the flying position as it is. As you can see, there is another formula of summation of k is equals to 0 to up to 6. Ki times omega I square plus mg is equals to 0. This is actually the equilibrium, because you are getting no acceleration. But if you see, when it accelerates, the equation changes. The summation of k is equals to 0 up to 6, because there is 6 propellers. If it was 4 propellers, it would be 4. So you need to multiply it with ki omega I square plus mg is equals to ma. When you are overcoming all of those forces, and you are also overcoming the mg, which is the gravitational force, when you overcome all of those force, you will get an acceleration which is ma. So then it can only fly. So there are 3 different things. It can hover. It means that it will not go to the downside, it will not go to the upside. When f and m is 0, it will not do anything. It is equilibrium. And when it gets an acceleration, it will go the upwards using the ma law. Now see how it rolls and pitches, because it had to rotate, it had to go forward, it need to go right side, left side. So how it can roll and pitch? We call it in Hexa-Copter the roll and pitch. So how can we do that? I just made a animation, or as you can see that how it rotates to right to left or left to right, whatever you say. First it will be at equilibrium position, because at that moment the left and the right side Hexa-Copter propellers are moving at the same speed. But in the second picture, when you see, the Hexa-Copter is turning right, one of the position is going down and left side is going up. When the left side is going up, it means that the left propeller is actually moving really fast, right one. When the right one is slower than the left one, it will go to the right side. In the same way, when the right one is faster and the left one is slower, it will go to the left side and it will rotate like that. So another is the rolling and translation. So you are rolling it to the left to right side, because the left force is higher compared to the right force. It means that when your left propeller is moving very fast, it has create more force on that direction, and the right one, as it is moving slow, it creates less force, so it is going to the right side. The same way it will translate from one place to another place, and when you click on your or control it using the remote control, and you click the left control, it will also change its position back to the normal, as you can see. And the final composition, we see the left one and the right one, and the both of those propellers having the same amount of force. It means that it is at equilibrium position now. It has moved from one place to another place, and now it stays. So actually this way, this is the mechanism that you will rotate it first and then translate it and then go back to the original position. This is all happening because of the rotation speed of your propellers. So it depends how you will work on your mechanism. So the strength part of it, that vertically take off, you don't need to first run and then vertically and then take off. You just take off it vertically. It has amazing hovering capability. As you can see, there are 6 motors, 6 propellers, so it is really capable and stable. You can use camera gimbals on the top of it when you want to use it, and it is very simple to fly manually. So when you are really you don't need to be really expert actually to fly it. A simple person can use it with a little bit of knowledge of it using the remote control, and it has total controller stability, and so you don't need to worry about it. The weakness part is really simple and short, and it has a short flight time because it takes a huge amount of power. With the 6 motors and 6 propellers, takes a huge amount of power, so it is a short flight time, which is, you can see, is there 30 minutes. It is a hard landing with fails. So when you land it, it will land very quickly and it may have fails on it. Sometimes you cannot land it properly. This is what they say. Low payload weight. Low payload weight is, the payload is what you are carrying your cameras, so it is very low compared to the other one. And high quality Hexa-Copter really expensive, and you need a very good quality Hexa-Copter to fly it for a longer period of time, because it takes a huge power and it is hard landing with fails, and it has low payload weight. It is very useful when you use in reference, so that other people can see where you can actually where you take this information from. So these are the 14 things that you can also see. I used some information from Coursera, from RoboShop, and some YouTube content, and also some Stanford YouTube content, and they are really good channels where you can watch how those propellers work, how those transmission works, how the GPS modules work, and each of the modules and the mechanism of flying those Hexa-Copter. So it is really good practice when you use reference on your videos and your presentation or in your projects. Well, that is all I have for you guys in this video. So I talked very in depth about those Hexa-Copter and told you everything that you should know about it. Its mechanism, its flying mechanism, how it roll and pitch, the advantages of it, the features of it, the applications of it, or you can use it in your real life, and you can also make those drones for your final year project as well. So it is my duty to make acquainted with this kind of projects, so I especially made this presentation for you guys to understand about those things. So bye bye, and I will see you in the next video. So keep in touch with me.